Self improvement as a whole, as a lifestyle to adopt, sounds wonderful on the surface. You take it from a guy who's been practicing it for a good amount of years now. Self help, self development, it's seemingly the act of a human being to begin living each and every single day out for the rest of their lives to be as successful as possible, to achieve as much as possible. And it's so many things that go into this consistency, the discipline, got to keep going. This is where a lot of the age old cliches begin to, sprout up all over the place. Never give up, never give in. Shoot, what is it? Shoot for the moon. And if you miss, you'll still land. Oh my God, bro. It's a lot. Yeah. And then, be motivated and be super disciplined and stay optimistic, right, dude? Stay hopeful. Stay what is it? Positive. Yes. That one's major. It's a culmination, of so many things. If you were to just take the great, okay, circle, the great ball of self improvement, then it's basically everything being sold right now by the gurus and the coaches and the mentors. And hey, some of them are doing God's work, all right, helping people really change their lives and giving them amazing results. You just got to be careful. I'm telling you, bro, definitely got to be careful. There is also a good amount of people that is just it's just a scam, bro. It is just a scam. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is, excuse me, this is kind of crazy. Like, how many courses do I need to buy? Okay, for you to just help me figure out what I'm supposed to do tomorrow because I have a day off tomorrow. Like, come on, man. All right, like how do I go about all this self improvement stuff? All of that is awesome. I'm just being for real when I say that. Um, I mean that exactly the way I said it. No, what? It really is. It's awesome. It's fantastic. It's a wonderful way to live. Why? You know, I think about all these weird things, all these strange things that human beings do, because we're all human beings. Okay. It's rare for someone to be doing something for absolutely no reason at all. What is that right there? I don't know. Going with the flow. And, my generation kind of grew up saying that. Living in the moment, living it up, being very free spirited, spontaneous, you know, whatever happens. It's like that. It's like that kind of, though these kinds of life mantras, rare in my personal experiences. The people that I meet most often, I mean, seriously, you think about this real quick, man. Everything, little things, I don't know, medium sized things, some of the biggest life decisions ever. It's always a reason. So self improvement is quite the endeavor. Now, here at the Pillars of Man podcast, I am always going to say, yes, bro, full send. Oh, all in. Go for it. It's going to be very difficult. This is what I'm acknowledging. Mission impossible to self improve without knowing why, without having a reason to. It's like, oh, yeah, sure. Maybe some things it's like, I'll do them to do them. Self improvement, though, okay? Joining the 5 a.m. club, okay? Hours upon hours of deep work, trying and failing and trying and failing and trying and failing. You know what I mean? Like, tedious, uncomfortable, scary, embarrassing. Good Lord. I think that one hits me just about every single episode. So there you go, dude. It's really a lot that goes into it. I feel as though most would accept the lifestyle of self improvement based on the premise this is going to give me everything that I want out of life. That's like the big reward for it, you know? Hey, I mean, if I try and I try hard enough and I try hard enough for long enough, I will get everything that I want out of life. That's what self improvement and self help will ultimately give me. What other reason do I need for getting into a life like this? Now, if you're still with me, fair enough. What I just said is why I started. It's that right there is usually the reason why most guys will get into it. However, if it was truly that clean, if the methodology was this formulaic, do A, B, C, D, and then equal sign, like A plus B plus C plus D equal sign, your hopes and dreams, then I have to say, most of us, it should be like all men. It should be like all guys everywhere would be raging success stories. Okay. Just, success popping out the yayo. Just absolutely everybody would be super successful. But that is simply not the case. That leads to some deeper questions that I aim to unpack and dissect with you tonight, bro. And I hope that where this conversation goes is going to help you pinpoint exactly what you might be stuck on so you can finally break into your process of self improvement or break through however long you've been in self improvement to a higher level into better results. And that's why I begin with this great question of why. Okay. The three generations of American youth that stand today. All right. And we lead the way. Well, because we're just older than all of you. All right. For these three. That's the millennials. But then under us, we got the Zoomers. And under the Zoomers, the Alphas. Are the Alphas? Yeah. I think they just, right? You know what I'm saying? Like finished puberty. They are also men as well now, or maybe the elders alphas are. I hope I'm getting my timelines right. It's just the betas are kids, right? And so these three generations of men chasing success in the landscape of modern day America, just present day 2026, in this modern and what makes this world so crazy to be alive for is the digital era, right? And when you and I look around, how many guys genuinely are self improvers? I mean, even if they don't label themselves as such, really locked in. This is just the lingo, dialed in, the full send, the all in, trying really hard or really just trying their faces off. I'm talking about really trying as hard as they possibly can, to make their best life work. How many do you know personally? And if I could zoom out just a tad from your locality and your personal social circle, et cetera, and we take a snapshot of the big picture, and I always just stick to home. So that's just the States, for the entire US. What portion of the male demographic? Minority, 50-50, majority? It's not looking good. This is a tough picture. Most guys nowadays are doing almost the opposite of self-improvement. So if self-improvement is a process of ascension. And I like to think of it like that because mine's led by God. So, the, one of Father's most famous nicknames is the Most High. So, on that path upwards to, be the best man you possibly can, biblically speaking, yeah, I definitely see that as a kind of a rise. So then, if we're going to talk about the very opposite, then that would have to be a process of a descent, of a degeneration. I say degeneration because what is it, brother? What is it that detracts from a man? That takes away from you, okay? Robs you, decomposes you. Okay? I'm talking the decay of a man's potential, ability, capability, his determination, his zeal, and his enthusiasm for life. All of these hallmark traits of strength, manhood, and masculinity any man is going to need to summon if he is being genuine and serious about his best life. You get to use these capabilities and to seek the pinnacle. I'm talking about the very best, of who you could become, the greatest, finest version of you. That is to try, okay? And you build it. You iterate it. You attempt it over and over and over. And that is the repetition. And that is the work in which a man grows and gets better. To not do that for a long enough period of time, are you with me on this, bro? You go the other way. It's almost like a natural process. You don't have to do anything because that's the name of the game. As a man brimming, born naturally with these kinds of abilities and capabilities, to not use them and to forfeit them in life, lay them aside, ignore them, you know, whether it's cope, kind of pretending they're not there, or it's ignorance. I really never took the time to try to find out. Wow, I actually had that in me. Oh, I was actually able to do this. No matter the path taken downwards, the outcome down there is the same. Rock bottom is a nickname. Understanding Christianity has me understand it is a demon's den, is what it is. But before I can get there, how does a man? That's a deep drop. How does a man find himself? Right? From just, normally living his life to, okay, right? To living a personal hell. This is why I call it the modern male plight. Because not only is this plaguing you, me, and all of our American brethren, especially in these three generations, and I'm targeting, it's not that this isn't a male problem. It absolutely is. To be a man alive today is in some way, shape, or form filtered through the individual human experience. All men are facing this, but these three generations right here are on the very front lines. Okay, where we're face to face. We are just going to be the most familiar with these kinds of demons. Okay, this particular plague striking the soul of any man who wants to be successful in life today. I I am talking about nihilism and hedonism. I believe two of the deadliest games the devil is waging on us, sons of God, right now, right now, in this moment. However, as much as uh, I'd, would just allow myself to go off on all sorts of tangents to really take you and I deep into this tonight, I'm going to bring up a film instead. That is my next deep dive. So for this one, brother, it's called A Beautiful Boy, 2018, starring the two male leads. We got Steve Carell playing David. David in this film is a father, and then he is starring right next to his son, Nick, who's played by a younger Timothy Chalamet. He's definitely he's a lot older today. What's Timothy getting up to nowadays? Dune 2, I believe. Is that out yet? Oh, no. What am I talking about? Dune 3. Dune 3 is the yeah, I'm definitely gonna try to catch it. I love action, adventure, drama, all that good stuff. The Dune universe is it's a gnarly one. But if you haven't seen this film yet, I highly recommend it. So before I go any further, I gotta drop my usual disclaimer. There may or may not be some spoilers. I do my very best to stay as far away from the plot as possible while still iterating exactly what I need you to know for tonight's episode. So you have been warned. There could be some spoilers, and I always recommend my viewers, followers, subscribers, love all you guys. Catch the movie first. Watch the film first, and then you can come right back here, and we gonna vibe, bro. Because this one goes deep into the modern male plight and the modern male human experience. And when I sat down and this film began, here's what really shocks me. This is what really gets me right off the bat is that David is extremely successful. Just right off the bat. Okay? This is building up to some heavy contrast between David and Nick. David seems to be I'm not sure. I'm eyeballing here, but for accuracy's sake, I'm going to try to approximate David is Gen X, something like that, and his son Nick is a Zoomer. I believe he is, in this film, he's born in the year 2000. So what is that? That's like prime. That's like core to elder Zoomer right there. Definitely the prime Zoomer experience for a male. I mean, in in the universe of this film, following that timeline, he COVID would have happened to him while he was smack dab right in the middle of university, something like that. Where in our world, the real world, many Zoomers experienced exactly that. The house, what they drive, what they go and do, in their free time, very casually. It's absolutely, to me, it's this picture perfect, you know, almost fairy tale like upbringing and family household. I mean, wow, just like the house is massive. The you know what I'm saying? All these separate rooms. I mean, this is, I would not consider the middle class. This is at least upper middle. I'm gonna My personal interpretation, they're straight up upper class. They're West Coast. Last I checked, the what is this? Is this the proper nickname? The Golden Coast. I've heard wonderful things, and it's not necessarily cheap to live there. So what I'm trying to say, brother, is that his dad did everything right. You want to talk about self improvement? You want to talk about peak. The prime modern male human experience. That's we're not. I'm not going to bring Nick in just yet. It's just David right now. Talk about the poster boy. Talk about, like, you feel me on this, bro? When you're watching a beautiful boy and you're just looking at David, what he's done, what he has, and how he lives, yo, straight up, isn't that where you and I are trying to go, bro? The nuclear family unit, the wifey. Uh, uh Actually, this situation is a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? The double wifey. Yeah, like, oh, okay, all right. We see you, David, because it seems that it didn't work out with Nick's mother. So he remarries, and Nick has a little stepbrother and stepsister, and it's so wholesome and absolutely beautiful to see. They all get along really well, though. That's actually, that is a part of the issue, but it doesn't seem to be, the where his main problems striking him existentially are stemming from, which is, you know, God is great. I believe the Lord knows how many families did not get along so well in these situations of a divorce and a remarriage and step siblings. Wow, you know, wife is there. Wifey is, she's dope. And I don't even mean, she is okay. Baby girl got the fine wine, if you know what I mean. But she's very supportive. you know she loves her stepson, which is Nick, as much as her own children that she has with David. Just a wonderful woman. This I just, that has to be said. And so that right there is an incredible blessing for David. That right there is literally in the Bible. That's favor. That's favor from Pops right there. And we don't get the details of what David does. I'm just saying, I don't need them. I don't need them. Okay, we see it. You see it. Whatever he does, you just see it in the whole movie. He's killing it. Whatever he does, he's killing it. It's honestly, we don't actually ever see him go anywhere. Oh, he goes all over the place for Nick, because of Nick. But just, like, oh, David's busy and he's got to do this. My man looks like he works from home. Like, this is a wow. This is, what I'm saying? Like, premium. Like, this is a dream come true, is what this is. That's how this film begins. See, remember, bro, the contrast. Everything is going smooth, even after he remarries, the family, all that. and here's where one of the reasons why this film is actually so painful begins to, we see its origin right here. And what I'm noting is how tenderly. I don't know if you want to be a dad. I definitely do. Most guys do. But that's just me. That's actually just a humble opinion of mine. I believe that like 99.99% of of male human beings that are born into the human experience will have that desire. It is a primordial desire. It is one of the greatest gifts a man could possibly experience in life. Okay? We are okay, you want to keep it super biological, okay, and scientific. We're made to make more. Okay, come on. We are made to make more. You know? Okay. All right. All of us men of culture unite. The process to do that. You know what I'm saying? God is great. God is great. But the process of nurturing, right? You know, rearing, raising, supporting, right? Teaching, guiding, mentoring, reprimanding, you know, all of it. It's so much. It's just fatherhood itself. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. For this next moment, these next few moments, I'm really just gonna go off of thinking about this as accurately as possible because I couldn't possibly know. It's definitely something you gotta live to truly know. I think we could agree there. But for me, bro, if you and I could just take a second and we just really think about this, okay? You are in love, right? You love your wife so much, and obviously it's reciprocated. And then in that love, you both sit down one day and are kind of just like, you trying, you know what I'm saying? You trying to do this? All right, it's gonna be, you know, like college tuition. You know what I'm saying? Uh, gonna, you know, are we doing homeschooled? Or we're doing, all right, we're doing private schooling. You know, it's gonna be you know, like the first round. You know what I mean? If you could separate it, like raising a human being, if you could separate that into rounds, first round, it's gonna be a lot of diapers. It's gonna be a lot of diaper changing, babe. Okay, like, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot. It's a lot to think about, and it's all good. But then when a man and a woman they have that conversation and they think to themselves, full send, like, let's do this, okay? And then right, that's that's when the that that's when the babies start popping up, right? These these creations. I want to say that they are a baby is the culmination of the fusion, the biological her, you know, in terms of the hereditary nature of it. Okay, the DNA replication, you know, the personality traits, you know, this is a fusion. This is an amalgamation of the husband and the wife's finest work. To it is these two coming together to create a brand new soul that is going to have, is it equal portion? I'm actually not sure. But I think I believe it's safe to for me to assume a decent, right, amount of the dad and the mom to create this whole new person. And it's going to get packaged. It's going to get uh wrapped up into a unique soul Because, right? Because never before has this unique male and this unique female created a new human being together. That's a baby. It's freaking crazy. And so that's what he does. That's how we get Nick. And I'm just trying to think about this. You know, I'm only able to both of us are only able to go as far as the powers of our empathy and logic. You truly have to live it. Do I have any fathers in the audience tonight? Then you know, but you know what I'm saying? I think most of the dudes watching me, you know what I'm saying? We single trying to mingle. It's all good, brother. You know? Oh, she's out there. Get out there, bro. Get out there. She's out there. You gotta track her down. And everything is so smooth. David's life, right? We meet him and it's like, dang, dude, you made it. You did it. You hit it. You know what I'm saying? Like this man, here we go, is living the American dream. A dream that I hear not many of my fellow generational brethren and the two generations below me. I don't even know a lot of Zoomers and Alpha men that believe in the American dream anymore. Can't blame them in this way. And this is where Nick is brought into the picture. Because 0 through 18, you know, you haven't left the nest yet. All you really know is what you were born into. And for Nick, wow. Okay. You want to talk about being blessed. Okay. Dare I say spoiled. But that's a wonderful thing. I know, parents would cringe at hearing me say that because, no one wants a kid to be spoiled rotten. But are we able to agree to be able to spoil the child? What a blessing. And Nick is given everything. David loves him so much. This is one of the most beautiful things that I've ever heard in my entire life. They say everything. That's their inside joke. That's their personal lingo from dad to son. Everything. It's a shortcut. It's like a quick slang for encapsulating I love you more than everything. That's their thing. David clearly shows how he treats Nick is nothing short. Stellar father. School, pushing him to like, hey, what do you want to do? And all that. And wow, boundaries. He's David is almost a balance. Did you get that when you were watching their interactions before Nick makes the fateful decision, which is the whole rest of the film and one of the core themes? Before that moment, though, before he takes his first hit, I got this sense that David he's close. He's close. He's almost as much of a dad, which in my opinion, maybe Gen X and up, that's not really a thing. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Gen X and up, that's all it is. I'm your dad. Maybe I'm wrong, but my parents are boomers. well, they're not American born boomers, but they're okay. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It might be a little confusing. It's just like Gen X and up. The style, you feel me on this, bro? The style is I'm your dad and that's it. Like I'm just your dad. Do you know what I mean? I'm here to keep you in line. I'm here to feed you. I'm here to shelter you. I'm here to, right, support you, protect you, and all that. Okay, but that's what I am to you. David, this newer generation, this more modernized generation of fatherhood, he seems to strike a balance between dad and friend. I'm here for you. You can talk to me about anything. I'm a whole generation away from you, but I still get you. You don't have to hide. You don't gotta sneak. You don't gotta none of that. He's he still has boundaries in the way that, like, Nick, these are things you can't do. Come home by a certain time, all that. But when, even from a preteen, even when he's a kid, A Beautiful Boy does this excellently. Okay, so kudos to the director to give us those key glimpses of Nick's childhood that shows us how his mind is developing. The kid's an edgelord. He's out there. Nick is introspective in this way. Definitely a thinker, definitely a daydreamer, I want to say. He's definitely very imaginative. Okay. Uh Nick is just very he's almost very keen on the the meaning behind, surface level perception, imagery, and experiences. Right? He'll meditate on it. He'll think about it longer, deeper than the average person. Right? To try to see more, to try to understand more of it. And and maybe perhaps this is the first telltale sign, which has nothing to do with it has absolutely nothing to do with how wonderful of a father David is. And that's how scary this stuff is, bro. In the exact same way for the men of today experiencing the modern male plight, you it's so devilish and it is so dangerous because you don't see it like that. You don't you unless you really have an eye for it, or you looking deep, and maybe you and I can do that because we're men, right? Because of course the modern male plight, as a man, if you're experiencing it, then you're gonna know. Okay, but for anybody else that's, you know what I mean, like living a better life, or just a woman, or a kid, you're not. You don't really see you don't see it like a guy, walking around with some sort of disability or an impairment or some kind of injury, where it's like, oh, this, I believe this gentleman, unfortunately, this happened to him. You don't see the modern male plight like that. It's hidden. It's spiritual. It, brother, what I believe you and I are facing, what makes trying to be great and successful and awesome as a guy today is because what we're really dealing with here is an illness of the soul. For Nick, these key glimpses is he seems to have an affinity for the extreme. Like and I'm a Lord, I'm a rap and R&B kid. Those are my roots. Yep. Rhythm and poetry and rhythm and blues. But I grew up to enjoy listening to a little bit of everything. But Nick is, correct me if I'm wrong, metal, rock, death metal, like really, really heavy, heavy stuff. And remember that car ride with David and Nick when he's like, it's one of the few shots that we get of him as a little kid. And you see David's eyes. As a father, he's not trying to, he's doing his best, is what he's doing, I believe. Right? He's looking at his boy. He's looking at this creation that the moment he lays eyes on Nick, his instinctual knee-jerk reactions are going to be, I made you, I love you, how are you doing, what's up with you right now? And so when he's looking at Nick in this way through the father filter, when Nick is headbanging his freaking brain off to the jams, and it's a wonderful moment that he's not doing it with headphones. He's not. You know what I'm saying? Like, not yet. He's not being emo like, oh, dad's driving, but I'm gonna listen to my stuff. No, it's playing on the speakers of the car for them to both, dad, this is what I love. Check this out. It's like one of those moments. And you see right there already, at least this is my personal interpretation, but where I caught was in David's eyes, David was kind of like, this is what you like? Right? It's like an inevitable experience for fathers, I believe. Okay, that's cool. That's cool, kiddo. This is what you dig. Okay. And he's not, right? Does he, as a dad, the older I get, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's an American thing. I promise, if you're younger than me, the older you get, the more boomer you will become too. You'll see. But as the boomer comes out of me now, okay, erupts out of me now, that moment is almost as if David's like, man, he couldn't have picked something else. It couldn't have, maybe some Mozart would have been, you know what I mean? Super classic dad vibes. Maybe some Beethoven, or you know what I'm saying? Son, I'm really trying to get into my boomer bag right now. Son, do you know the Beatles? You want to check out you want to change it up real quick? Son, do you know the Beach Boys? You know what I mean? Son, let me introduce you to some Sinatra. You know what I mean? No. Nick, for whatever reason, is just he has an inclination towards just like far out there, hard hitting, hard, like extreme. This is the best way for me to say it. So my personal interpretation is even at that young of an age, Nick is already trying to it's almost a rebellious spirit. He's trying to he's not accepting his childhood, which is blessed and beautiful. And at no point throughout the film, throughout his upbringing, I don't believe at any point would Nick, the character in this film, I don't think he'd ever refute that. I don't think he'd ever say, no, my childhood sucked. Do you have any, it's not that he wouldn't have a valid claim to make, but I just don't think that's just not the issue. It wasn't that, oh no, my childhood was so painful. No, it's the very opposite, actually. This is what's so crazy. This is why I say the nihilism and hedonism game. My coach taught me, it's one of the best things he ever taught me. My coach taught me, as a Christian man, there's one thing you're going to have to understand right off the bat. The enemy, and he's talking about Satan. I used to, before he taught me this, I used to believe Satan is flashy. I used to believe that, because if you, brother, movies, you know what I'm saying, bro? Comics, anime, you know what I mean? Like media and entertainment, the way that Satan and the devil is portrayed, right? Like this, ultimate villain with aura. You know what I mean? And like with the pitchfork and the laughter and the super douchey, edgy monologues and whatnot. My coach put me on game, and he was like, "Scrap, bump all of that. The enemy is actually very subtle." Quiet. Slips by you. Does not actually want attention. Creeps up. A tiptoer. If you have also ever heard, the devil is in the details. Right? When you're skimming, oh, it's fine. Yeah, no, it's cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, let me just move on. I want to move on with my life. But did you catch it? Did you If you had taken a second, if you had looked a little bit more closely, you may be able to catch, okay, some of the the spiritual warfare in the ways that Satan tries to ruin a man. The enemy is subtle. I never forgot that. And so the nihilism and the hedonism game, I want to say two core aspects. Okay, getting to the root, getting to what is the modern male plight? Why are so many of us, bro, so reluctant? Why are we so hesitant? Why are we so repelled by self-actualization, by becoming the finest version of ourselves? Well, in this film, it seems how it begins with Nick is he's rebelling in the way that, oh yeah, no, I mean, yeah, this is cool. I serve with my dad and school's cool. And uh like, he's young in this scene, but as he gets older, yeah, sleepovers, video games, sports, after school, right? Bus rides, family dinners, family vacation with mom and dad, little bro, little sis. Like life is good. That doesn't that doesn't always, Lord knows that in a perfect world, that's that is perfect. You don't need anything else. And in a perfect world, Nick would have grown up perfectly into a perfect man, but that's not life. That's not how it works. So Nick continues to grow up, and it seems that he's just, because of the way that he's built. Remember, this is a completely new and different human being. He's like his dad. He's not all like his dad, and he's like his mom. He's not all like his mom. It's a fusion of both, and so it's new. And so, for whatever reason that David was unable to catch, because it seems David had never experienced, uh, it's just not in his father to possess a worldview in this way. It's as if Nick is looking at the world and he's kind of just like, well, this just ain't it for me. Can you blame the kid for that? Could and if and he's bright. I believe Nick is intelligent enough to be self-aware to the point he might even feel bad because he understands how blessed he is. With right, like the food and where he lives and the life he leads and all of this and all of this. And he has an affinity for words too. He's good at writing. We learned that before everything goes wrong. And that's not something to cast aside. That is something that needs to be, you know, brought forth into the light, which is just, it needs to be talked about. It needs to be brought out into the open with people he trusts and he loves. It's not something to just, oh, like, what are you talking about? Kids being ungrateful. He's spoiled. You know, it's like, what do you mean? Like, this is the peak experience of modernity, and you have it. Shut up. Go to college. Be successful. Make lots of money. What are you so worried about? What does that do? What does that do but maybe make the problem worse? For a human being who has this, I'm trying to say, natural affinity towards deeper meaning. It's, I'm not trying to detract from the blessing it is to have the life he did in this film. But at the same time, is that a valid excuse to not address the seeds of nihilism that seem to be growing inside of Nick? The enemy is subtle. I say that again. At face value, right? For a young mind who's always trying to look deeper, and it's just not really enough. David couldn't catch it. And that's so tough, because that's actually that right there is one of, again, another, it's why this film is so raw. One can argue, wow, David really, he hit it all. You want to say, like, the check boxes for, like, being a great dad? And he couldn't catch his boy slowly being dragged into that spiral of meaninglessness. The face value was not enough for him, right? Just like all his friends who were just like, yeah, man, wow, life is dope. Life is dope. We're all going to go to uni and we're all going to get degrees, 9 to 5. And then I'm starting my family, man. Like, it's not that Nick didn't want that, but he was definitely lost. He just, right? He just, like, this kid was struggling with a question humanity will always struggle with, I believe. The question is there anything more to this, though? So I was put here to get a degree and then work until I'm 65. And that's it. The reason why I feel for David, his father, it's so difficult, because in terms of responsibility, okay, any father that is looking at me right now, would you agree, sir? That does fall on him to take accountability for this situation, and David does too. That's the thing. Later on in the film, he does, and it rips him apart. I that's where the extent of my personal experience stops. I cannot imagine. But Nick is plagued from such a young age. There's got to be more to this. There's got to be more to this. There's got to be more to me. This universe is so big, like, right? Like, deep questions. It's rare, but some human beings are built like that. Nick clearly is. What, like, there's just got to be more. And he grows at the same time that struggle grows within him. And he's too young. He's too inexperienced with life. And he was able to keep it away from David well enough that he would. God is great. And this film is based on a real life story. Don't worry, brother. We're headed there. He would learn why The why is self-built. Okay? The why is purpose. It's people. It's love. Purpose, people, love. These are the things in life, right? That you protect, you foster, you seek. Because I believe a combination of these things build for man peace. Nick had no peace. Restless. So restless. And when I realized, as soon as the movie told us he's got a thing for words, I immediately understood. Oh, he's a creative mind. He was born to think, think about stuff, and just try to say it in a way that other people would right get value from hearing it. Creative minds. You got to make a creative mind. You got to make. What real quick? What is the opposite of a creative mind? Possibly a logical and a structural mind. These minds thrive off of calculations and computations. Give me something to solve. Give me something to solve. Like, oh, is this some sort of puzzle? This is some sort of algorithm. They feel alive. They're kicking. Life is great when they're just right. It's just like, huh. Let me think about this. I got this. This is a problem to solve. I can solve it. But creative minds, it's more, wow, what does this really mean? What is what's actually going on here? Could this be alluding to something else? Like stuff like that. And Nick mistakenly, he falls upon that fateful decision. Shortly after he graduates high school, still a kid, okay? All right. For all my alphas, no offense, but you'll understand when you get a little bit older. 18-year-old kid, a beautiful boy. And so in that moment, he makes the decision, all right, I'm going to take a hit. And it's pot, and doesn't seem so bad. He even has this experience with David. They share it, and it's very wholesome. I truly believe David would have ripped that joint out of his hands, and he would have stomped on it, and he never would have, possibly he never would have let Nick out of his sight if he had known where he was headed. And where he was headed was methamphetamine. It's one of the most addictive substances on planet Earth, I believe. That's what Nick, unfortunately, gets into. Okay. It's not that most guys, I hate, just an opinion of mine. I'm not able to back up tonight with stats and data and numbers. I'm coming from my own personal life experiences here, brother. And I safely assume all the guys I know, you right now, bro, and all the guys you know, and all the guys that you know, and let's branch out a little bit further, and all the guys that they know, we're not dealing with a meth problem. We are dealing with a nihilism and hedonism problem. It's the same thing. It's not that the experience in the issue is the exact same. It's what's happening to all of us. This film, A Beautiful Boy, I believe is actually so important for the year 2026 and beyond. Okay? For any human being that cares enough to truly understand why are the young men of this country, why are they not going to uni? That's becoming more and more of a thing. What's going on here? Why is there a rise of neathood? So, and that's the acronym for NEET. And for males, that's I mean, human beings, any human being can live like this. But for men who are not in education, um, they're not employed, and they're not training of any kind. The slang, at least internet lingo, is quote unquote, this is the checked out man who wants no part of society. I'm good. I don't want to try. I don't want to date. I don't want to work. I don't want to do anything. Where is that really coming from, though? Because as a man myself, I don't buy it. I never will. I don't freaking buy it. I'd have to well, fair enough. I'd have to sit down with the gentleman, like the individual man. It would be, a sit down at a cafe, and it's like, hey, bro, let's just we're just gonna chill, and I would try to talk to him, right? But if I'm going to generalize, okay, tonight, then I'm gonna say absolutely not. And I implore, if you have a friend, if you have a brother, if you have a son, if you just know of a man that you care about, I implore you go deeper. Okay? The lifestyle symptoms, very rarely is it the catalyst. Because when we use the character of Nick in this film, it has to be said, I feel as though most people, right, looking at this situation, and this is very valid, but it's like, what? But it's like, what the, right? What the fudge? How did that? This genuinely shouldn't be possible. Meth, brother, meth with the spoon and the needle and the rubber band around the forearm for years. But you know what I'm saying? But David, making, look at the house. I'm just saying, bro. Look at the house. Well over six figures. Well over six figures. You know, the schooling, the scholarships, the sports, the experiences, the upbringing. The kid had it all. This cannot be possible. But that is not how nihilism and hedonism works. What Nick was dealing with, that he was not able to find, unfortunately. That's why the story, that is the nature of this particular tragedy. Nick found Satan, I believe, before he found God. And I say that because God is of the highest. God provides the perfect and the best forms of purpose, peace, meaning, joy. In my personal interpretation of the Christian faith, I believe this is called the narrow path. Nick gets tricked into going the opposite way. Because remember his words. He goes, when I use, I just feel that, he says, void. That void in me, that emptiness within me, I just don't feel it anymore. He's like, when he's high, he feels like everything's okay and everything is just fine and everything's great. That's hedonism. The hedonism game. And this is why I believe this film so brilliantly ties into a deeper part of the modern male plight you and I face right now. If we're brave enough to wake up on any given day and try and chase the best of ourselves, bro, when you're not doing that, okay, when you had that option for uni but you're like, nah, I'm good, right? When you should work but you're not, oh, like, but what about, are you interested in trying to, right, build, become useful at something you love, become very skilled at something you choose, training, but you're good with that, you know? It's like, oh, maybe a job, no job either. This is when, your average person would just be like, degenerate, loser, lazy, dropout. Uh, what is it? The just, you know, never launched. But that's not it. How easy it is. When you use labels like this, you don't need to question them. You don't need to have a conversation with the guy that's actually going through it. You don't need to figure anything out. There's nothing else to talk about. This is just what you are. Get away from me. How many boys, how many men are we treating like that today? When for so many, what's really going on deep in here is, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what to do. I want to go somewhere. I don't know where I should go. It's all that, that I believe is sourced out of nihilism. When you bring the forces of darkness into this, sin, and how Satan would coerce a human soul, when that is amplified and reinforced with, you're correct, you're trying to answer these questions and you're in pain. But what if I told you there is no reason? You keep asking, what should I do? Who am I? And what should I chase? The devil would respond with, what's the point? Why would you? Why bother? Why should you try? Eventually turns into, don't try. When a man is faced with don't try, when he's settled on this, he doesn't, it's not that existence ceases in this moment. His life continues. And those capacities I mentioned earlier in tonight's episode, the abilities, to process, to think, to contemplate, to do, to move, okay, to live, these don't go away. You can't get rid of these. In the same way, I cannot stop myself from thinking. How about I say ever again? I mean, you know what? Okay, not to get super deep into this, but maybe I'm just thinking about it. Maybe technically it is impossible, right? Because if anyone is right thinking, oh, don't think. You gotta think to do that. That's what I mean. That we'll stop there because it gets. I believe it gets way murkier than that. I'm you know what I'm saying. Yeah, you know. I'm a yapper. I'm a podcaster, not that well versed in philosophy. So you can't say, I just won't feel anymore. There's another one. You can't say, I won't love ever again. I don't believe that. I actually don't believe that is possible. You know, you may not love what you want to love, but you're loving something. A little bit more food for thought. And so, okay, so all right, that's enough. But this is what I mean. The some of these primordial, these are core human capacities you just can't get rid of. Okay, so this is where a man is genuinely in trouble now. This is when his descent is steady. This is fast becoming a plummet. When nihilism translates into, wait a minute, since I can't figure out for the life of me, okay, we got so many young boys right now thinking this to themselves, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. If I can't, you know, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I want to do. No one cares. And there's no point. So then wait a minute. I'm just going to live it up. I'm just going to do what feels the best right now for as long as I can. That's where hedonism. That's where so nihilism almost offers the man up to hedonism to attach itself as well. And when you have both of these, then this is truly where you get insanity, death, mental implosion. You know, guys going out into public and doing absolutely horrendously crazy things. I'm not trying to give an excuse. I'm not trying to justify their actions. I'm saying as a society, is anyone asking, where did this come from? How did he get to that point? How did he get to that point where he thought it was a good idea to just wake up one day and I'm just going to hurt as many people as I can today. I'm just going to take this weapon. I'm going to head out there and I'm going to hurt as many people as I can. Is this just me, bro? Do you feel me on this, brother? Because I highly doubt that man was born this way. I do not believe he came out the womb looking to, shoot or cut or whatever. It's a slow descent. And that's exactly what we watch Nick go throughout the entirety of the film. It's a freaking roller coaster because he's surrounded by Nick, the character Nick, and actually the real life. He's a real dude. He's alive today, living an awesome life. I looked this up, and blessed, truly blessed. Again, God is great. Surrounded by people who loved him so much they wouldn't let him go. Okay? Here's the thing, the Lord knows how many men don't have that right now. They do not have, right, that tight, knit social circle. Hey, look, like I get you because I know you so well. You need to chill out because, we're in this together. Nick had that over and over and over every time he couldn't stop himself from returning to the addiction. For the parents that are confused, all my boy does, he locks himself in his room. All he does is play video games. That's all he does. All he does is smoke weed and play video games. I'm so worried. I can't get him to get a job, not even a part-time job. Whatever, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I have a buddy. And he doesn't go anywhere. He doesn't do anything. He's a bit of a ghost. He's surviving, and that's a blessing. Nothing else besides that. Why? Why do men feel as though that this is the only viable way, this is the only viable option in life? I need to, I'm going to keep to myself. I need to hide. I'm going to stay away from everybody. I'm just going to do my thing. I'm just going to do whatever it is that I can to sedate the pain. It's almost as if at that point, of course this is a case by case basis. Of course, some individuals, it's really like, give it, you must also take into consideration the context of that particular situation of like, well, what happened with this crime, and like, in this person. Yes, of course, but I'm just saying, how many of those could be prevented if maybe at some point before the man snaps and breaks, someone could make it in time and have a conversation with him of just, hey man, what is it that you really want to try? And even if it's, but I don't know. Well, it's just like, hey, but you know what? But you have the power to try something though, and you are enough, and that you are great, and that you are perfectly ready and fine as you are in this moment to choose something and try, because you can. And I bet, and I believe you're gonna surprise yourself of where that leads. How many men never hear this? And as society sees the end product of a gentleman who he was grinded down for so many years by by the nihilism and the hedonism game. Okay, I believe the Lord knows how many men fight with everything that they have behind closed doors. They're actually fighting for their lives. They're actually going as hard as they can, but they're alone. And that's just not how that works. That's just genuinely not how that works. That 1v1 right there, like, as sons of the light, we are great in this way, but without Father, it doesn't work out. It doesn't work out. Satan will outplay eventually. That's to his advantage. I was taught this. His knowledge and his experience in the ways of this world far exceed that of any mortal being. So you really try and hold that line, right? You try and hold that line. No, shut up. No, it doesn't hurt. No, it doesn't hurt. I'm just going to take this hit and I'm going to be fine, right? Yeah, I'm just going to play this game and it's going to be fine. Okay, right? I'm subscribed to this model, and when I look at her, I'm going to be fine. Whatever it is. Eventually, he's not fine. And that's where we see that in full realization with Nick in this film. Good Lord. This is why, brother, getting right with God, right? Be reborn through Christ. Find your narrow path, pick up your cross, follow the goat. The original goat. Follow the Son of Man, the anointed one, Jesus Christ. And let that lead you to everything that you deserve, to everything that you should have, to everything that you really can be. Because life is so worth it. There's so much to do. It's so purposeful. It's so beautiful, and it is so amazing. But you can't see that. It's not possible. The devil in this way is blinding with the hedonism and the nihilism. Nick absolutely was. You see it. You see it because when he relapses, he's making love to that. This is pretty crazy. He actually finds love. Like, what a story, I mean, God works in mysterious ways, and he united these two people who are so broken, and then, right, I don't know. Actually, I can't say because I'm not sure. I looked him up. Nick Sheffer Look him up. It's an incredible story. Author author of multiple books now. Has his own kid. He's been sober since 2011. Praise God. He's been sober since 2011. Incredible. Because all these relapses we see in A Beautiful Boy actually happened. Oh my God. Shout out to his dad, because obviously he's real too. Shout out to the real David. My goodness. You know what I mean? Oh my God. Flying, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's go, dad. Let's go, dad. He flew right out there, drove right out there. I'm not giving up on my boy. You know what I'm saying? To the point where his wife was like, but what can you do? And he was like, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not giving up on my boy. Oh my God. You really see it. Like, good Lord. The director of this film nailed it. He really nailed it. Brother, you remember that scene in the diner? This might be the heaviest scene for me in the whole film. This scene right here might be the one that actually hits the hardest for me because I'm an ABC. You know? Oh, and me and my old man were great today. Okay. And he worked his freaking butt off so that I could sit here. Enough said. And then I'm just saying, you know, the ABC upbringing, you know, my native tongue is not so great, and that's really how my dad communicates. So there was always that language barrier. So maybe that's why, you know, you put all that together. Maybe that's why this scene hits so hard for me. But come on, bro, he's fiending. He's on it. Maybe he's not like gone, but he's on it when he sits down at the diner. You know, like he can't focus. Like he clearly, Timothy Chalamet. You know, he definitely did his homework. Okay, is this what? Correct me if I'm wrong. Is this method acting? Because wow, he's firing. Timothy Chalamet is firing on all cylinders in this scene, and he sits down as Nick, and it's just like kind of out of it, but at the same time he's it's almost as if he's trying to lock in because he's trying to make sure he gets what he wants out of his dad. You know, he didn't come here for food. He did not come here to bond. He did not come here to talk about his problems. He came here for money because you know, he needs his next one and he needs it soon. So he sits down and David is just reeling, you know. You really have to applaud the man's composure right here. I mean, and this is excellent acting on Steve Carell's side because you can see how much he's trying to hold back. Just so much raw emotion, right? Trying to, because obviously none of that changed from the moment David held Nick in the palm of his hand, right when he was born, to that moment sitting down in the diner with him. Nothing changed. That's still his son. He still loves him very much, more than everything. And he's trying to understand what the frick is happening to my boy. And David goes, I believe he says something along the lines of, "This isn't you." Was it right? Was it something like that? "This isn't you, though. This is you." And Nick goes, "Yes, it is." Nick goes, "Dad, this is me." And then David recoils from that. David was like, "What do you mean? Who are you?" And Nick goes, "Dad, this is me. I'm right here. This is me." Here's the thing. I believe Nick was not saying, "This is me all drugged up. This is me on meth. This is me homeless." No. Nick was saying, "Dad, this is me. I don't know why I'm here." Nick is saying, "Dad, I don't have any meaning. I don't know, I don't know where to find meaning. I don't know how to wake up I don't know what I should be waking up for. That's what he was saying. That's why this scene is so brilliant. I was just like, oh my God, this is incredible, because it so painfully but perfectly captures what I believe so many of our brothers today in 2026, especially in the millennial, Zoomer, and Alpha generation, are trying to say, and they have no one to say that to. You have so many men who are just like, who people are just like, that's just what he does, a dud. It's just what he does. He stays home. He's always baked, and he's gaming. Yeah. When perhaps, possibly, underneath all of that, underneath those choices, other people can so easily judge. That's what's going on. And Nick, I mean, you know what I'm saying? And he tried it. He tried, and really so hard in that scene. Dad, right? He was like, and I'm your perfect little thing, and this wonderful creation, and you really wanted me to like be like this picture perfect son. Like, oh, you were gonna do what we all do. Do you see? Because where David comes from, Gen X and up, where they come from, that's how it works. That's the game of life. Why would you complain? It actually, like, no, I feel the unks, and I feel the old heads in this way. I really do. Partially, I feel the boomers. It's interesting because my generation, the millennials, we're kind of the in between. It's like you have the traditional old school of America, then us, and then you got right, the you have the first children of the digital era. So it's almost like my generation is kind of like the in between, like the connector generation, kind of, So when I think about those older than me, I get it because they're looking at us young people like, what? I had what you have. I was born, like on average, I was born, parents, school, K through 12, went to uni, degree, job, wife, kids. Now I'm 65. Life was great. What are you complaining about, kiddo? But that's not how it works, is it? That's that's what you and I just took a deep dive into tonight. That's not at all how it works. If that's how it works, Nick that never would. It's not possible. That never would have happened to Nick. That you don't get, Dad. I'm right here. And I'm suffering in front of you because I don't understand why I'm alive. You don't get that from a picture perfect upbringing. You get that. From a human soul struggling to understand itself that cannot. When do we get to have this conversation with men? Put the bowl down, put the bong down, put the needle down, put the gun down, put the controller down, put the phone down, and then ask him, what's going on with you? I just want to know about you, and I want to see what's going on with you. Until this conversation is put at the forefront, until we hold this conversation as an imperative, I believe men, they will continue to stay checked out. They will continue to deem the society, right, in all of its luxury and lavishness and all of this progress that we've made, which doesn't make any freaking sense, because we really are, okay, on a global scale, America as a developed nation, okay, a beacon and a role model. Well, we're supposed to be. This Come on, bro, stop playing. Brother, are you with me on this? Of course we're supposed to be. We're too great. Come on. They like how the truly to do it like this, to even, right? I know, right? Incoming conspiracy theories and the corruption, and I know, bro. But I'm just saying though, that's happening because the system is there to be attacked. That's so I just wanted to say that. That's very telling, you know, right? A system in which, all of these rights, natural born, okay, you cannot fringe upon. This is just everyone gets this, right? So things so right for that sense of fairness, injustice that this country, okay, in the way that I understand how our forefathers were trying to build it, they were trying to strike at the heart of all of this chaos and entropy and nihilism with a societal system never before seen in the world. And that's what you and I were born into, bro. And it's amazing. And it's worth protecting and it's worth fighting for. So that's why it is shameful. It gets infuriating. As a man, it does. It gets infuriating. Because it's like, how is this possible? How do we have this many sons of American soil who are going through this and they feel as though they have nobody to turn to? Not mom, not dad, nobody. Just a woman who is willing to make a living like that on the internet, and they watch her in 4K in slow motion go side to side. That's how they're surviving. There is hope. Nick Sheffer and the character Nick in this movie is some of the most precious and beautiful evidence there is hope. Of course there is. When Nick had to go through that journey for him to find this, but he found it. And I mean, it is at this point that I always have to say, you must trust Father. Faith in God. Especially when you're on your narrow path. If you're a believer, brother, you're a fellow brother in Christ, what else do you have at that point? Not in your own strength. There's a limit to that. Right? And you can't, brother, you can't keep playing the devil's game. Nihilism and hedonism, where they lead you. It's where places where humans are not meant to go. It's places where no man should step into. Hope, brother. It is possible. You give it time. You have to give it time. You have to get away from what is convincing you, reinforcing you, pushing you to these extremities of these absolutes. Nothing is worth it. Nothing is worth it. It's all trash. Everyone's garbage. F all of this. That doesn't lead to anywhere good. It leads to nowhere good. It's just chaos. It's just chaos. It's a very, if you're familiar with and this may be an upcoming deep dive soon enough, but if you're familiar with the Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker in The Dark Knight 2008, that's a Joker mentality. And it's very real because it can provide you an answer for nihilism in the most destructive way possible. Perhaps that may be the one pathway where the most amount of people get hurt. Nick, ups and downs, rises and falls, but God is great. this man, he finds his way. And I'll end on this. Reading Nick Sheffer's, if I'm getting I hope I'm getting his last name correctly. This dude, what a legend, man. What a legend. He fought it. He fought one of the worst addictions anyone could possibly have in this world, and he made it through. And Nick, has his own family now, and he's, I saw them on, you just Google him. You'll see it right there. It'll all pop up, like first link. I saw all of his books. And he wrote for Netflix. Like, oh my God, it's freaking awesome. He found a way. He finally embraced the most creative part of himself, and he funneled it into a purpose. That all that it's easy to, like, oh wow, all these books, and it's like, oh yeah, like his wife and his kid, not like, oh yeah, great. But if you just think about it a little bit deeper, every single one of those books, how many words? Right? In what order? You know what I'm saying? What is he trying to say? How long did it take him to sit there and just be like, like this? And then, you're right. See, that's the process. One day at a time, one step at a time, but in the direction of who you really are, bro. That's worth living for. I get it. We're mortal. One shot, one life. How long? No one knows. Could be tomorrow. We could go around when we're 75. We could go tomorrow. It's really nobody. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, anything can happen. Literally, the greatest evidence I've ever witnessed in my personal lifetime so far to prove anything can happen was 2020. That rocked everybody. But I believe my generation, we were grown. We were pretty grown by then. Yeah. Many of us, mid-20s, late 20s. Really, even before COVID hit, the millennials, I believe, were really kind of, like, okay, all right, I'm not getting kind of creaky now, waking up, It's like the last of it, right? Kind of truly seeing, oh, my prime youth is right. It's tapering now, moving into middle aged, and then right, the three phases of life. You got early age, middle age, late age, old age. And we were all like getting ready, preparing to enter middle age, and so I this is just my humble opinion. I believe many of us were kind of just like, yeah, I mean, yeah, the world's a pretty crazy place, but it's just the way that we saw our grandparents, boomers, do it, and then our parents, Gen X and whatever, do it, and then us. It's like, yeah, it's gonna be like that, and then no, obviously not. Just like that, the world changed. And so that proved to me, like, really anything can happen. And so it's easy to, right, let the fear, let these tricks of the devil, let sin, let hopelessness and meaninglessness override your God-given capacity to be great in life. What is greatness? It's not, I don't mean to make it ambiguous and fairy tale, like, I don't mean to make this sound Disney. No, your greatness is very real, but it's to be lived. And that's what makes it so special, because you're the only one that can live it, brother. And so you will get to experience it. You get to test yourself. You get to challenge yourself. You get to see, okay, I'm just not going to think about the world, and I'm going to really try to cook. Let's see what happens. That's it. That's it. And you let that be fun. You let that go to wherever it goes. Don't be afraid. Lean into it. Ride with it. Enjoy it, because that's you being you. You can't, brother, you cannot listen to the lies of the enemy and of naysayers, of people who are so convinced that they cannot do it themselves. They are hell-bent in making sure you cannot do it either. Live for yourself. Do what you want to do. Go after what you want to go after. That will bring you great meaning in life. And for a man like Nick, who really had to step out, he flirted with it so many times too. He went in and out and in and out. Goodness gracious. But for him to finally break out of the jaws of hell, let Nick Sheffer inspire you, me, all of our fellow kings. That if you just relax into who you already are, and you allow yourself to explore that, give yourself this opportunity. If you can see me and you can hear me, you got it, brother. You just need you. You just need you, and you need whatever you're using right now to watch this episode. You already have everything you need for a whole new life. This is the opportunity of the 21st century, and it is not a chance you should take lightly. It's a complete reversal. Brother, if you don't know, if you're having trouble, if you want to, but you just, brother, listen to me. Find dad. Okay? Find God. There is no other who will show you the way and lead you through this in a better fashion. If you just, I don't know what the frick I'm doing anymore, find God. Nick is not alone. I'm not supposed to be alive. I'm not. Perhaps that will be an episode. I am only sitting here because of God. That's why I say that. That's why I say that. I try not to podcast about anything I haven't lived. Find God. Then follow him. And you watch. You watch what happens to you. You watch what happens to your life. You watch what it all could be. Because it won't be in here. It will be out here. Brother, I just want you to go. I just want you to go. Just don't stay here, bro. Don't stay here. Because like just here, just right here to what it's always been. That's how men go mad. No, brother. You were meant for so much more than here. Do it with dad. And do it. And keep doing it. And it's gonna get sweet. Yes, brother. It's gonna get sweet. It's gonna get way better. Are you looking for a little bit of help? Or really just another fellow doing the same thing? You'll find me right here at the Pillars of Man podcast. Is what I do. I talk about God, movies, and anime to help you with your life. If you like content like that, hit the subscribe button for me. You're listening on Spotify, follow me on there. Wherever you find this, shoot me a follow, because I would love to catch you for the next episode. But until then, take it easy, take good care of yourself, and I love you so much.